Hi, how you going? My name's John. I'm the installer for A Man and His Cave. You've just purchased your new table. It'll either be delivered to you via courier or myself will be coming out if we're doing the delivery and install. Tables have been upgraded, so they're much better quality. So you're getting a brilliant price and you're getting a brilliant product.
Before we get started, let's cover off a quick list of the tools you're going to need to complete your slate pool table installation. First, an impact driver, along with a 14mm socket, 21mm socket, and a drill bit pack with various sizes. Second, a standard drill, along with a Phillips head screwdriver bit. Third, bog. We recommend using Selleys Rapid Set Cement. Fourth, a stapler with 10mm staples. And fifth, tools for marking, along with a lead pencil, some dots and/or a marker, and a straight edge or ruler.
When you get it delivered, you'll have 4 boxes as shown here. This one holds the beams, like so. This is the box with all your accessories, all the bolts, nuts, the screws, the pockets, your cloth, that'll have your balls, your triangle. In here will be your legs and the covers for the legs. And in this one, it will be the cushions and the 2 cues that come with the table. Also, there'll be 3 pieces of slate, depending on the size of the slate. So first thing you want to do is unpack everything and set it all up. If at any time, you should always check your parts before you even start putting the table together. And if you are missing anything whatsoever, stop, do not put the table together, do not even unbox everything. Just check the accessories first and make sure you've got everything. If not, give A Man in His Cave a call. So if you move the cushions out of the way, because we won't need these yet. As you can see, everything's packed really well. Right, on opening, in view with 2 of these are the ends. Whichever orientation you're setting up, which we're going this way today, we'll set up the 2 ends. Then you have the 2 sides, which is there, and the other one here. Now that is all that's in that box. Next box will be this one, which is the legs. Each leg will come with the covers, so they're the covers that go with the legs, and then we have the legs themselves. Again, well packaged, so it won't be damaged. Another 2 covers, and another 2 legs. Once you have those out, that box is finished with. Next is the accessories box, which is a smaller one. In here we'll have the triangle, have an instruction manual. We have the cloth, we have the pockets, we have the 4 adjustable feet, we have the balls, we have playing cards, a brush, we have the bolts for the frame, we have the metal that holds the net pockets at the bottom to the frame. We also have another bag in here. You'll have chalk, and then we'll have bolts. So these go into here, so they go for the covers. We'll be using them later on. Open up each foot, and then what I like to do is screw it all the way down, and then just gently knock it back so it's a little bit loose. Once we do that, you want to take the long bolts. Now you'll have 8 in total, and it is 2 per leg. Just undo those, so you want to keep the washer part to the bolt end. Now what we want to do is we want to turn all the legs up. So you should have the holes on the outside with the small holes on the inside. You want to make sure that the holes line up with the holes there. So obviously that hole's not going to marry up with that, so we just need to swap the leg over. Which would be that one. So you're looking for the holes that look like centered in there, where the other holes for the sides are close to each other at the bottom. What to do then, take 1 bolt with the outside facing outside, put that in, bolt in, bring the other leg to it, in, bolt in. Now What you want to do on the inside here is there's a hole there. We're just going to put that there and basically screw it in just so it catches. So as you'll see, they're curved and one straight, so you want the curve end facing in. So then you should be looking like that on the bolts. Okay, what I like to do then, take one of the sides, make sure it's the outside, rest it on the floor, take your bolt, push your bolt half in, move the leg down, foot behind, push it through, done. Come up to the other leg, make sure it is orientated, which it is, if not, that'll go there. This one will come here. What we do is we lift this up. That'll give you some support. Once you're in there, again, bolt through the frame. Just let it catch. Just let it catch. Again, this side, put that in, bolt, that will hold it in place. Bring your leg there. Bolt, curved end towards the inside. And what I like to do then is just get the bolt, put on top of the leg, push the bolt there, push the bolt there, flip this over, one, bolt will hold it, two, bolt will hold it, that's it. What you need then is a 21mm socket, and we're just going to tighten up. So I like to lift the leg slightly, just so it pulls it all in. Once you've done that, important thing now is to position your table. So once you've positioned it, you don't need to do any leveling it yet. We're going to now get the slate. So once you've got the middle slate on, you then want to position it so it's centered. Now with these ones, we're going to want to drill in this piece of slate. When the new slates come, they will be pre-drilled. For now, we will drill our own. So what you want to do is you want to come in about an inch, center of the beam, and do a little countersink. Then you want some 8 gauge 50mm screws. And that's it, you're done. Then we'll bring the remaining slates. So with these, you will need, again, only until the new slate comes in, 4 10mm packers. And they are countersunk, we just want to open up a little bit more. Then you want some 8 gauge 30mm screws. What we're going to do is we're going to position them at the end here. Put the screw there. So they're snug and don't move. Now the packers are important because if you don't use the packers on these current ones, when you put it on, you will see it bananas, because if you look here, you've got the wood and then it goes down at an angle because there's no wood there. So that is why we need the 10mm packer. This wood is 10mm. Otherwise, your table will look like a banana. The solution is the packer. Like I said, this will just be until the new slate comes in. Once that's on, make sure it's clear at the sides, and again we will drill. Now, once you've got them all in, you just need to fill for any deficits, and you can use paper, anything like that, or I use little tile packers from Bunnings. What I do is I just loosen the screw off. The packer will then go under the wood where it joins to the table, and we just gently manipulate it in there. So you want it slightly over this slate, so when you drill this in, you want to pull that in, and then it will pull it there, and then you can manipulate the slate, and then it should be a perfect level. That one's good. So we'll undo the screw, because obviously we can feel that this slate is higher than this slate by a little bit. So if we undo that screw, and then we can see the same here, that slate is higher than this slate. So again, we'll undo the screw, and then what we want to do, get our little packers, put them underneath the wood. So where this wood is on this piece of slate, lift it up and basically just gently put it under there, and you want to get it, just push it, it's wedged, so it'll keep wedging. So at the moment that is flush there, but what we want to do is we want to go a little bit over that, so we've got a slight little lip there, so when we screw this in, it will pull that wedge in. Like that, and then that is smooth right the way across. And then we do the same here, so obviously this wants to go up because that's too high, and it's only out by a little bit. So again, slightly up to there, and again till it bites, and then you smooth across there, and that's it. We get our straight edge, we go across to make sure there's no deficits, or you can use a level if you've got one. And there's many ways to level the slate, so if you think you've got a way that you prefer, you're more than welcome to use that way. Like I say, at the end of the day, you want them level. And then what we're going to do, Selleys bog. So you want the concrete rapid quick set. We're going to start at the end. You don't need to go all the way to the end because the cushion covers that. And basically just come out. What that'll do is not only will it pick up any deficits, that if there's any chips or anything, it can fill them in, but it will also fill in that hairline crack in the joint. So we come to the end, and then we fill in our screw holes. Start at the end. So like there, we have a little deficit. So when you fill it in, when you're coming along this, it does that as well. So it'll fill in any of them little chips. So if you've got any little chips, you don't need to worry about them. So like we had one little one there, the bog will fill it in. Also, if you get any chips around here or anything like that, don't worry about them. It doesn't really make any difference because the cushions cover this area, so the cushions will come over here. If you have any little hairline cracks, they're not too bad, you can fill them in. If you've got any chips in here, they get filled when you bog them in. If you've got chips here, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the cushion will sit here. So anything from the center pocket to halfway through that pocket there is fine. If it's in this part, depending on how large the crack is, I mean, if it's too bad, then it will need to be replaced. If it's like really small hairline, you'll be fine with it. Again, you want them seams nice and smooth. And what we'll do is we'll leave that for about 10 minutes just to let it set a bit. Next part, the cloth. Now this cloth is non-directional, so that means you can put it any way you want. So what I usually do is get it out, give it a shake, and I usually put it on where the crease is, where it's been folded on the top. So then what I like to do is I just like to go over the table and then I give it a little shimmy just to get any fine dust off. Give it a shake. Again, little shimmy across, and then one for good measure. Shake out, and then we position it on. So what you're looking for is basically putting it on even all the way around. Then you take your stapler. Now you can do this with a hand stapler, but what I find is it hurts your hand. So why do that? Especially as oldies, we need to watch our hand. So what I like to do then, get a new blade. So you got a new blade, got some staples. You want 10mm staples. And then what we do is we start from this end. So what we want to do, so you've got a center cut out there. So we'll gently pull it down to about here. And then we'll put staple, 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 staple. What we do is we go to the other end and repeat the exact same process. So the center, pull it down, make sure there's no crease there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, once you have that, take your knife, come into the center pocket. What we're going to do is we're going to gently pull it down, so you've got your thumb in the middle. We're then going to put a cut either side of that. What we're going to do is take this part, make sure it's out, pull it down slightly, fold it under, little nick, up to the wood. Down again, that's your set point. And then we're going to go staple, 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 staple. Always underneath, never inside the pocket. Then we're going to go the other side and do exactly the same. So we pull the excess out, pull it down into the pocket, cut, cut, pull it down, make sure the creases are out as much as you can. We are going to go staple, 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 staple. Now you have the two center pockets anchored in the middle. What we're going to do is we're going to come to the end. We're going to take it from the corner. We're going to pull back towards the corner and back. Fold it under. Staple, staple. Same on this corner. Pull it back so we're coming back and towards you at an angle. So that angle. Again, staple, staple, and we'll do that for all four corners. Staple, staple. So all your four corners, the tops are all tacked in. Come back to the center. What we want to do is we want to grab this and we're going to pull the slack down. We're putting it under, always under. Staple, staple, corner. So then you've got a nice smooth transition there. Same on this side. So what you're looking for is your pocket. There's no sag in there. Nice sweeping, all staples underneath. Again, so both pockets smooth. What we're going to do then is we're going to come to the end. Now what you want to do is you want to bunch and then you want to pull back. Again, 2 at the side this time. So you'll have a bit of slack in the pocket. Again, back, pull. That's it. Now once that's all done, you're just going to come to the table. I'm just going to staple. So we staple the ends up first. Once you've done that all around, then pockets, what you do is you hold it, find the center, straight down. You grab it. Again, underneath, staple. And that is it. What do you then? Take your knife, and cut off the excess. What you're going to do, you're going to get yourself a 2HB pencil. Don't use permanent markers. On an 8-foot table, you're measuring from the end. So this is the end where we're shooting. You're measuring from the end, 530. If you're doing a 7-foot, it's 470. Take a straight edge, level, ruler, whatever you want to do. Marry up the lines. And 1, 2. Then centre, 605 on an 8-foot. I'm just going to put a mark there, and we're going to come down here, and we're going to measure the same, 605. Little circle there. So whatever it is to the centre spot there, that's what you come up from there and across there. So that'll be the centre. That's for your black spot. So 7 and 8-foot tables, we only mark up for pool. So you'll need to get some dots. If you want to use a marker pen to do the dot, you can, but just don't do the line in the marker pen. Okay, once you've marked it, then you need to find the holes. So here you'll find the hole. We just put a split in it. There'll be 3 on the ends, 6 on the sides. For this, you're going to need the pockets. You'll need the pocket guides. You'll also need these bolts, these washers, and these are for the pockets. So a washer on each bolt, 3 bolts to each cushion. Get your pockets. So each of these, obviously they're corner pockets. Each of these straight ones, centers. So you should have 2 centers, 4 corners. So now on the cushions, it's quite simple on these. The 2 ends have the logo on it. So I usually put one end flat, one end like this. When you come to the sides, you will see that there's a sharp turn and there's a sweeping. The sweeping goes towards the end pocket. The sharp turn goes towards the center pocket. And that is all your parts. What we're going to do is we're just going to find the center. So I usually put the screw up in the center, put your finger on where the hole is, line it up, screw it in. Straightforward, they can only go in one hole. So that's the cushions up, and there's a lot of play in these cushions. What I'll do then is I'll come to whatever corner, just gently peel it back a tiny bit. They're glued, so they're quite good. Again, just fold it back, put that on, push it up, and start with the bolt closest to the center pocket. Once you find it, should, if you've got it in right, go straight in. Like I say, they're easy to find, so you'll feel for the holes in the slate. You'll feel there'll be like a cutout in the wood, so you can't go wrong with these. They only go on one way. Then we'll put in the center. Push the other center part on. And again, start with the end. Again, there's a lot of play in these cushions, so they're easy to straighten up. If you find that they're not straight when you've done them up and you need to straighten them up, then what you do is you just undo the bolts, but make sure the washer comes down with the bolt as well, because if the washer's there and you've still got the bolt up, then that washer is going to be snug and not allow you to move. So make sure that washer has come down. So again, come to the middle. And like I say, if you've got them in, they square up pretty easy anyway, so you should get the bolt straight in. Shouldn't have to search that much for it. Again, centre, fold it back slightly. Same on here. Make sure that if there's any net that's ever caught like that on the pocket, just pull it off. You want them to be clear, because sometimes they can tangle when they're in there, so just make sure they're both clear, because otherwise you can do it all up and then you find that you've got that attached and you have to take it all apart again. And when I come to the end cushion, I usually put one in. Put this into the opposite side of this cushion. What we do, slide that in, bump, and then bump. And you should. It's usually if you find it hard, this is usually the cushion you have the things for. Give it a little wiggle, and the bolt should. There you go, right there. And you want a 14mm socket. What we do is we come to the end, give them a tight. Same on the other end, to make sure they're pushed in, and then you sort of like push it down. Then we do the sides. That's what you want to do. By eye. Always tighten up the outside first. So that one. That one. Same on the other side. That one. That one. Straight edge. Beautiful. And just check it with your eye. Perfect. Cool. Once you do that, you get your 6 wires, one for each pocket. And then what we do is we thread. So you come to the outside, so you'll get the outside like that, and then we go in and just thread it in and out. There, you don't have to bend it yet, just slide it right through, and you can do that on all the pockets. Okay, so once you've got all the wires threaded through, basically you need 6 screws for one side, 2, 4, 5, 6, 6 washers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will have spares as well, so don't worry about that. And basically, you're getting a screw, you're getting a washer. Now you're going to put these up, so what you want is you want it going outside, so you want the D basically going outside. So what I usually do is I come to about here, so about an inch in, drill it up, another screw, Again, bring it to about 1 inch in. Screw it up, and then what I do is I just move it across, make it look nice, and gently just push it up just a little bit. And that'll be it. That's one, and you'll do that for all 6 pockets. So again, the centre about 1 inch in. So about 1 inch. And that's all 6 pockets done. What you do is you're going to get the leg covers. So these will be spares. Keep them, they'll come in handy. The dowels. Again, they'll be extras. Right, now what I like to do, you might be thinking I'm going to put them in like this. That's all well and good, but they catch in these holes sometimes. And if you try and force them in, it will actually push through this wood, because it's just thin wood. So what I used to like to do, what I like to do is I will put them in the hole, like so. And then I hammer them in to about there. So about 1 centimetre out. And then you get these, and you push them on, they clip firmly into place. So like instance, if you had that on there, in there, this hole here, it's a little bit tight. So if you try to force that in from there, it would just push through that bit. So with this, we can just go there, give it a hammer, because it just needs to open up the hole a little bit. So if you've measured the ends, the centre will always be straight. And that completes installing the table.